Welcome to Topsfield's Candidates Night. I'm Mary Sheridan, as president of the League of Women Voters at the North Shore. Formerly, we were called Topsfield last weekend. I would like to welcome you to this Candidates Night. The League is a multi-issue, volunteer, nonpartisan organization working to promote political responsibility through informed and active participation of citizens in the democratic process. As such, we never support or oppose candidates or political parties. We do, however, take positions on issues we have studied. We applaud those of you who are running for office tonight, and you, the public, who are taking the time to become informed about the issues and the candidates. Our goal is for Candidates Night to provide an opportunity for candidates in contested town elections to introduce themselves and to provide voters with information that will help make informed decisions at the upcoming town election. Reminder, your election is Thursday, May 7th at St. Rose Church Hall from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. The town meeting is Tuesday, May 5th at Maximum School Auditorium. As is our custom when sponsoring candidates' nights in Roxford, North Reading, and Georgetown, we turn to a league member from out of town to moderate, to preserve an unbiased neutral ground. I am tonight's delegate from Roxford. Our timekeeper is Sarah Beth from Topsfield, we have the time card, and we would ask the candidates to try and keep their remarks to the time limit of 1 minute for each question and opening and closing.
Hold the mic closer to you or something.
It's not picking out.
I'm just the next moderator.
People, we're taking written questions on the side, so if you have questions for the select board and the planning committee, would you pass them to Gretchen? We have, or basket, and we'll try and answer. Right then. Okay. We're going to begin with the uncontested candidates who have a chance to come up and speak for a minute, or just stand up and say your name so we can recognize you. So, here we go. Moderator is Jonathan David Vito, and he's presenting with us tonight. Elementary School Committee, Alyssa Rose Custon. Assessor, John Linehan. Commissioner of Trust Funds, Mark Andrew Rafferty. Constable, no one has signed up, so I guess you get writing. Housing Authority, Cynthia Shea.
My name is Cynthia Shea. I am a resident of Little Creek Village, and I am running for an open seat on the board. Thank you.
We have Jennifer DiCarlo, also for Housing Authority, but this is for 2 years. Library Trustee, Maureen McCarthy. Kathleen Blythe. Regional District School Committee, Alice Rose McDonald.
Good evening. I prepared a short statement, so I'll try to keep it a minute. Good evening, and thank you to League Women Voters for this opportunity to speak. I'm running Mascot and School Curriculum, because I believe deeply that strong schools are led with a spirit of curiosity, inquiry, accountability, and data-driven decision-making. Our schools should challenge every student to grow, while also being transparent and responsible to the community they serve. Over the past 2 years, I've listened to the recordings of every single school committee meeting.
Wow.
That experience has given me a clear understanding of both the responsibilities of this role and the real challenges facing our district. I'm stepping forward because I want to be part of thoughtful, informed solutions. My background reflects a long-standing commitment to education. I hold a degree in secondary education and taught little and social science. I served on the committee to select our next superintendent. And I was board member of Massachusetts Education Foundation from 22 to 24. As a parent, I worked the special education department to support a child with work illnesses, giving me firsthand insight into both strengths and areas where we can improve. I'm also a strong believer in the value of performing arts and athletics, and I've advocated for gifted education at the state level. Thank you very much, and I hope you'll consider supporting me.
Next, we will begin with the select board candidates. We will go in that order, and then we rotate. So we're going to start with opening statements and Mr. Hook, Marshall Hook.
All right, by the way, I have my phone in front of me, not because I'm texting anything, because I have my own timer. Not that Sarah's not gonna do a great job. My name's Marshall Hook, and I'm running for what would be a third term on the select board. The first time I ran, I'm generally pretty loud myself, and I'll use the microphone as well. The first time I ran, it was at the height of COVID in 2020. That was the election that was delayed like 9 times before we finally held it in June. Last time around was a little more normal, so this is only the second time that I've done this. I've been in Topsfield for about 10 years now. My family moved here. I've got 4 kids, all of whom have gone through the schools, and that's what we came here for. That and what I would call the Topsfield way of life, which the select board has dedicated itself to preserving at every step of the way. I've basically only gotten through the introduction, and based on my own phone, I have 4 seconds left, so I assure you all I have a lot more to say to them.
Mr. Sheehan.
Good evening, and thank you to the League of Women Voters and Ms. Sheridan for hosting tonight's discussion. My name is Greg Serino. I've lived in Topsfield since 1966, a short gap during my early adulthood, and my family's roots go back even further. As a kid, I explored every corner of this town on my bike, from Proctor School to the library, Gills, Sugarloaf, and Barry Farm, and more. It was a great place to grow up, and it's been an even better place to raise my family. My 2 children had the same experience, and like so many of you, I want to preserve that for future generations. I'm running for select board because I care deeply about this town, its people, its character, and its future. Like towns and cities across the state, Topsfield is at turning points. You see rising taxes greeted with override requests and increased financial pressure on residents. I believe we need a more disciplined and forward-looking approach to budgeting, one that looks for efficiencies, plans ahead from major expenses, and reduces the need for repeated overrides. Overrides should be reserved for those truly unavoidable circumstances. That was a minute or 2 minutes? So what? Thought we had 2 minutes.
Pardon me, I'll speak fast. Good day, this is Chris Swallows. I'm here tonight as a candidate for select board in a town I'd very much like to thank the League of Women Voters for inviting us here to introduce ourselves and share our ideas with you. So a little about me. I live at 13 Coleraine Road. Elise and I moved into the Heats house, if you recall. This is the teacher in town 23 years ago. We raised our daughter Abigail at Stewart Proctor in Masco. Survived a year working together under one roof in our home near Copen. And in 3 weeks, she'll be graduating from George Washington University in DC and setting up her young adult life in an apartment down there. So her public education as she received here in town has served her quite well. I grew up in East Hartford, Connecticut, in a Democratic household. I attended public schools, had paper route, worked tobacco in the summers, and put myself through college. and union job in a bakery, First National Bakery, and you started food. After graduation, I was college. Well, I look forward to your vote. Thanks.
I was going to ask you if we can hold our applause now until the end of the question. Question number one, Mr. Serino, can you tell us your priority on the select board?
Two priorities, mostly the taxes and preserving the character of town. I can actually go to my speech. I believe the select board must provide strong independent oversight. Its role is not simply to approve, but to ask questions, evaluate options, and ensure that decisions are made transparently and in the best interest of the residents. Finally, I'm deeply committed to preserving the character of Topsfield. We often talk about protected open space, and that is important. But what truly defines this town is the space built into our neighborhoods through thoughtful zoning. That's what gives Topsfield its rural feel, its quality of life, and sense of community. We need to protect that carefully, and that protection also extends to every resident property in this town. Those are my two things. Did everybody hear me? Thanks. Yeah, sorry.
Mr. Ruggles, your priority on the school.
Well, I believe my priority on select board, we reflect the population of Topsfield, the residents and their needs and in town. So taxes, indeed, our money should be spent with great care and with great effect. Anything that's wasted in town should be cut. That said, I think our situation with state and local aid, it is quite variable. We need some future tax increases in Topsfield. I don't believe that this is a feasible approach, even a goal. Maximizing our assets and resources to provide great services we experience here in Topsfield with all love as well. And finally, I would like to know that conserve our water resources. I believe we got to do this in a sustainable and in green way. Thanks.
Mr.
There we go, it works. I would like to continue doing what we've already been doing on the select board, which is good news for both of these gentlemen. It's a lot of what they want to do as well. We already look line by line at everything in the budget. And if you have attended any of our meetings, which like one person has, then you would know that we do it over the course of multiple meetings a week over several months. The budget is not just something that we rubber stamp and set on its way. We look at every last thing. And beyond that, it's continuing to preserve what makes Topsfield, what makes it special, while continuing to look toward the future. That's thoughtful development where it's appropriate. That's enhancing things that we already offer, like recreation and green spaces. It's continuing the momentum that we, and I say we intentionally, nothing is done by me, it's done by all of the volunteers of town and all of the staff at Town Hall, continually moving forward with that.
Mr. Ruggles, what is the greatest challenge to Topsfield?
Well, I think the greatest challenge is how we're going to afford all the things that we want to do. There is a limited amount of growth, development space in town, and leveraging that so that the residents don't have to only burden as much as they can. So with some commercial development, I believe we can increase our tax revenues, not in great amounts, but in some effort to keep the great things that we like in Topsfield here. So challenges are to keep the environment clean while we still encourage development in places that aren't developable. I believe we're pretty much out of single residence home space, and to grow will need some commercial input.
Mr. Hook.
I'd summarize our biggest challenge in one word: avarice. Because everyone's taxes are too high. My taxes are too high. Your taxes are too high. But if you pay high taxes, you also want good services. So how do we balance the amount of tax? We absolutely look at every taxpayer dollar we spend. But again, we need to provide services for those tax dollars. So that's what budgeting process is about. Again, it takes a long time, and we take it very seriously. I would challenge anyone in this room, anyone in this county, to look at our budget and show me where is this waste that people think exists. The town is going for an override this year, and it's the first time the town budget has gone for an override in 15 years, which is well before I was on the board. So the town budget is not full of the waste that some people will look at, and they think that we have done a terrific job over the past several years to increase the quality of services while still preserving the value of that.
Mr. Serino.
I have to echo that same sentiment. Perhaps maybe a little bit stronger in looking at taxes. If we don't want to just give up and say taxes are inequitable, I think there is scrutiny, and there are possibly places that can be looked at and can be more efficient. And that's it, pretty much.
Next question starts with Mr. Hook. Can you discuss your understanding of the impact of the 40B project on town finances, environmental water usage, COA impact, need for increased funding?
In 1 minute? That's a lot. Here's what I'll tell you. It's going to have an impact on a lot of those things, but it has been exceedingly well reviewed. The one I'm most concerned about is the impact on our COA. And that's the one where we're looking at, I don't remember the exact number of units, but something like 40 potentially new seniors in town. And we want to be able to serve them as well as we do the ones that are already here. I don't know what that's going to look like. We are hoping that the folks who are going to be the professionals over there will be able to assist us with that. And I know there's going to be programming spaces over there. So from a space point of view, we may be able to use some of that. One thing that I'm not sure if it was in that long list of things that is most important to me is that this 40B project will put us over that 10% number, which means we will no longer be subject to hostile 40Bs. Any ones that come in, any development that comes in after this, will have to abide by our zone.
Mr. Serino.
Obviously, it's going to impact the common downtown area traffic-wise, and it has to be looked at very carefully. I trust the boards who will see that will ensure that traffic is acceptable. I also just, probably shouldn't opine so quickly without wondering if you have an organization with so many seniors and we have a burden on the Council of Aging, that there is a way for them to include within their organization some extra assistance as far as Meals on Wheels or transportation within their organization. I don't know if that's possible, but I'm certainly looking at that as a select.
Mr. Weber.
Well, I think the 40B housing is going to be great. I think there's going to be a lot more people in downtown of Topsfield. Go to stores, utilize the services, yes, but it brings a community to Topsfield. I think the complaint that he had about Topsfield is too expensive place to grow old in. This helps with that. It allows people who grew up here, spent their whole life here, to be able to stay here in a time when property taxes will be increasing. So I think that multi-generational impact on our community will be wonderful. So it well worth any additional cost it might incur to the town.
Mr. Serino, next question. The town no longer has someone to take meetings. Do you know anything about why this has happened, and will the town be hiring someone else to do this?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
The town no longer has someone to take meetings. Do you know anything about why this happened, and will the town be hiring someone else to do this?
Obviously, in this day and age of multimedia, we need recording of meetings. And that's something that should be looked at, and hopefully volunteers. I mean, that's what it's done in the past. I don't know where the volunteers disappeared to, but yes, I agree. That has to be looked at last time.
Mr. Ruggles?
I don't know why we don't have a man behind the camera over there, but I do know that many of the meetings in town are recorded on Zoom and are available on the town website. I've watched many. I do recall when we moved to Topsfield that the Board of Selectmen were on the local cable access, and I enjoyed the sessions to learn about how things were done in Topsfield and to just perceive the understand the people who were doing. But so there may be group halls like this where or at Masconomet where we have our town meeting that don't have a in-place Zoom cameras, and I think we can find either a high school volunteer is probably to be able to provide some of those services should we need it. I'm not sure if we need to hire someone full-time to do that or not.
Mr. Holt?
The good news is this is an example of a place we saved money. The bad news is some meetings aren't being recorded. We used to pay several tens of thousands of dollars to Boxford Cable to record those meetings, and over the past year or two, if you were kind of bought select board meetings, you may have found them with sound and no video, or video or no sound, or not recorded at all. That was the degradation of services that Boxford Cable was providing, so we terminated that contract. The select board room, for a lot less money now, has automated cameras, and so that system has been an improvement. We haven't answered all of it, obviously, because we need to find people to record those meetings that aren't on Zoom. It's a work in progress. We apologize for those meetings that are being missed, but most meetings, I think, are on Zoom and being recorded. But I think ultimately, if we see this through to the end, it'll be a place where we save several tens of something, $30,000 plus and end up with better services in the end, which is a tremendous win. I lost track. Who wants to talk next?
Mr. Ruggles is to have next, so Marie this. What kinds of economic development would you actively support? How can we do a better job to welcome new growth?
Well, I think one of the things in Topsfield and any municipality benefit most from are meal taxes. I think most commercial manufacturing square footage would be comparable to residential square footage, so there's no net gain in that. So restaurant or catering businesses, there are, as I see it in town, a few lots that are zoned commercial but haven't been used commercially for many years, encouraging the owners to take a look at how they might be able to either transfer the property or get someone to work out, pumping gas at those gas stations on Route 1. I've been in town for 23 years, and we have a couple of buildings that have not been used as they had been initially intended. Let's see if we can change that.
Mr. Hook?
Thank you. I would love to see an openness of mind to people, because I think too many people in this community hear development and they just shut their eyes to it and shut their minds to it. If you look over the past 6 years that I've been on the select board, there has not been one new shovel in the round development. Everything that we've done, not that we've done, that has been done, is rejuvenated properties, repurposing properties that already exist. None of that does anything to take away from what makes Topsfield special. And I know, for instance, right now, a lot of people are worried about the alfalfa farm development, but consider for a moment that the alternative to that was the destruction of potentially the most iconic property in town for 4 single-family houses, which would be a net cost to the town, a net cost to the town. You would lose money in that, and you would lose this wildly iconic property that its current owners are not only preserving, but they are bringing the history and making it front and center. Open-mindedness.
Mr. Serino.
I am encouraged by a certain amount of economic development in the center of town. Outside the center of town, I'm supportive of economic development that protects everybody in town. Abutting residents, they're not negatively affected by anything that goes on necessarily. That, I think, is my priority thing. We live in a town that is a better community. I want to keep a better community. I don't want to have it as a destination. And I think that's what we were suggesting in order to get the kind of revenue that they're seeking from vehicle taxes. So I encourage economic development when it happens naturally. And I also think we need to be thoughtful about where these developments go and the impacts on anybody, any resident. Thank you.
Mr. Luke, if you are looking to cut taxes where $1 million impacts the average home by about $400 to $500 annually, where specifically would you look to cut, if anything?
I think it's unrealistic for you to talk about cutting taxes. Right now, the world grows at greater than 2.5%. And that is what we are restricted to in tax growth, 2.5%. So if we only raised taxes by 2.5% every year, we would be shrinking services in town. This comes back to what I said before, is balance. We have to look at services versus taxes. Again, there is an override this year. It's primarily due to health insurance and pension costs, retirement costs, two things that we have zero control over, but we have painstakingly looked at every other part of that budget. If anyone thinks that there is a place to actually reduce the tax burden on our people, I encourage you to come to any of the, I don't even know how many meetings we have between December and March where we talk about this. People are welcome at every one of those meetings or to meet with us personally. Come on down and talk to us.
Mr. Serino.
Although I'm not intimately involved with the goings on of the select board at this time, I do hope to be a participant and a very careful participant about how we spend money and where there are overrides, not overrides, but increases in costs. You know, we talk about healthcare, I think, and I know it's not up to the select board, but the select board is part of a bigger state, has a duty to report to the state government and work on those excessive costs that are increasing our taxes.
Mr. Rebels.
Well, I think the premise is a little misguided. I do not think we'll be able to just say, cut $1 million off of taxes. I know there have been suggestions that, oh, just cut every budget by 3% and you'll save the money. That really does start to impact the services in town. I think the fact that we've gone so long without a Prop 2.5 override is a testament to what the FinCom and the Select Board and Town Administrator have done, as well as the department chiefs to do what is necessary to meet the services that we all expect. Government needs to help people. That's why it's here, to help us when we're young in the schools, to help us get through our lives as we need it, and as we age, I have a place for us to be. So this is a need of what government does, and this thought of cutting taxes, a 2.5 rate is really not a starter for my work.
Well, our next question, which maybe will be our last question, Reverend Bynum. And we're going to start with Mr. Serino. How do you plan to support Topsfield's LGBTQIA plus neighbors? What are your thoughts on the current diversity of Topsfield, social, economic, race, etc.? And what would you change if you could?
I support everybody in town I don't want to narrow down to any specific groups. I don't think that's particularly the role of a local town government. And I think Topsfield's a wonderful place to live for everybody, and that's how I'll support it.
Mr. Ruggles.
I said I moved to town 23 years ago. We moved from Cambridge. One of the first things that we noted in Topsfield was the lack of diversity of restaurants. The next thing we noticed was a lack of diversity in our faces. Even tonight, I look around and I see that it's a white bread town. And, my daughter was in daycare in Cambridge when we were working and had the benefit of multicultural exposure. I think the more we can do to support them and to support all residents of Topsfield makes us better. So I'm not afraid of DEI. I think diversity gives us strength. I think we need to include everyone, every resident of Topsfield. And they may not have the same needs that I have or that you have, but they should be able to feel free to come forward, and I'll be an ear for all of those.
Mr. Hook.
Thank you. I'm actually going to repeat myself for anyone who was here 3 years ago. I believe I said from this very same seat that I'm a white, middle-aged, straight guy, and the world is set up to make me feel comfortable. And that's just the reality. And to say that we're just going to take care of everyone as some sort of blanket statement doesn't acknowledge that not everyone has the privilege of living and walking through the world like I do. So I do think it's incumbent upon us as leaders in this town to find those opportunities where we can help those who are not as advantaged as I am. And if you've been in town the last few years, you've hopefully enjoyed our Pride parades, our Pride picnic. I would say about a lot of things, but I am personally proud that I was somebody who was able to step up and help the organizers, and they're the ones who do all of the work. The Tri-Town folks on this do all of the work. We were able to help them make this an event that attracts people from all over the North Shore, and for this I'm proud that Topsfield be a destination.
We're going to closing statements with Mr. Ruggles.
Well, a few points from my opening statement. I hold a PhD in chemistry. I'm a scientist at heart, and I take a data-driven approach to every problem put in front of me. One of the things that we do as scientists is we are taught to separate our preconceptions from the facts as we observe them. So that's what you'll get with me on the board. I told you a bit about myself that I grew up in East Hartford, Connecticut, the son of a New England Yankee, Mike Ruggles, who always said, we need to leave a place better than we found it. And an Irish lass, Joanne McHugh, whose idealistic spirit taught us that with love, anything is possible. I'm a member of the North Shore Unitarian Universalist Church in Danvers, and you appreciate 7 principles we hold dear as all individuals on the road. Let me say the last thing from my Connecticut Yankee card, and if I can do this without tearing up, that'll be great. I personally believe Topsfield is a very special place. While I'm not a lifelong resident, I have come to call Topsfield home. With our child, Abby, flying the coop, and Lisa and I have decided that our final resting place needs to be here in Topsfield. When our little girl comes to visit someday, perhaps with a child of her own, we hope she'll visit us in Pine Grove and say to her mom and dad, Topsfield is a better place because you were here.
Mr. Hook.
So if you'd asked me 3 years ago when I sat here if I was going to be here 3 years later, I would have said no, 6 years is enough time to be on the select board. And honestly,
3 years later?
we'll discuss that in time. But honestly, I think that we've got such good momentum. There are things that I want to see through to the end. We closed on the property for the Highway Garage. I hope that a year from now, we'll be putting ribbon on full-service restaurant in town, and you could walk there from a pocket card for that didn't us, the taxpayers, the dollar put in place. I think that we have better recreation than we did. I think we have better communication than we did. There's always more to do. I'm not going to sit here and say that any mission is ever accomplished. It's not. And whether I come back in 3 years or not, it's not going to be done in 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. I'm not great at math. But there's always more to do, and I'm excited about another 3 years, and I hope that you all support me for that, and remind you that while I don't have an office, if I did, the door would always be open. You get my email, my phone number, you can accost me in the street, I am here for you all.
Mr. Serino.
I'm so confused. I love this town. I grew up here. I struggled to stay here and past my divorce. I am going to die here, I hope, unless the bus accident somewhere in Boston. I wanted to stay, and I know this is me, I want Topsfield to stay as much as it can the way it is now, understanding that there is some growth. I do think we can look at taxes, and whether or not I can reduce them, you'll be sure that I'm going to be looking at everything to make sure that we spend everything efficiently and beneficially. But that's it.
Thank you, John. For planning board rotation, we have 2 open positions for 3 years. Starting with opening statements, Mr. Stephen Hall.
There we go. I'm Steve Hall. This will be my running for my sixth consecutive term on the planning board. My wife and I moved to Topsfield, old Rocky around, you got the flowers, 2009. Yeah, about 2009, 2010. Into our lifelong life finishing career is I here. And we both really became involved in town. My wife is a member of the zoning board. I'm a member of the planning board. People pull me into service, and we're proud to serve. I am proud to serve the town.
Thank you. Martha Morrison.
What do I? Nothing. Just the line.
Okay, can everyone hear me? Very good. First of all, I'd like to thank the League of Urban Voters for arranging this night. I have been honored to serve on the planning board for a number of years, and I seek another term because I want to continue to move forward with the progress that we have made in the past few years, and to shepherd through a number of items that are in the pipeline that the town needs to do. Topsfield has a bright future based on all the work that the town has done, including the recent master plan. The planning board has already implemented some of the strategies that were laid out in the plan, particularly in the area of housing, but we have more to do to achieve our goals. Most important, I will continue my endeavors to coordinate and cooperate with all of the other boards and committees involved in this process, our outside consultant, and most recently discovered our state and federal partners. I look forward to our discussion.
Ms. Rosalie Disapia.
I'm Rosalie Disapia in town on water. Sorry. This is my first year running for any office here, but I've been on the Economic Community Development Committee. I was on the Master Plan Committee, the Business Showcase, currently the Zoning Board. I just look forward to, sorry, what am I yell? Right, yell at you? Yes, to go, the high note that is, I want. Still turns.
Just the poll goes.
Just, is it on? Yeah, it's on. Can you hear me now? Yeah. Okay.
Here you go.
trying not to yell at everybody. I am looking to be on the front for many boards to help guide through the master plan committee that I was on and bring forward those ideas to the town that were done through constant surveys to serve everyone in the town that fill those out and to get through, to pull Topsfield forward.
Mr. Jackson.
I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters for this lovely evening. I'm a current member of the Board of Selectmen. I've been on the Board of Selectmen for 20 years, and I've decided that most people have probably seen enough of me on the Board of Selectmen, so I decided not to run again. And then somebody said, well, you ought to run for the planning board because they could use a fresh voice, and I said, well, okay, I'll try that. And that's what I'm about, is to, I'm not looking to help the planning board rewrite bylaws or wordsmith bylaws, but I'm interested in trying to provide a fresh voice when it seems appropriate. Thank you.
For Mr. Webster and Ms. Longman, the makeup of the board has stayed almost the same for many years. Was that a strength? And what about new voices are plus?
She said the board is stayed, the same. Yes, or no?
Who's that hand raised?
Yes.
It's
Actually, that's not entirely true. We have seen a fair amount of movement in the board. We welcomed, first of all, Jane Merrill, and then Greg Mellinger to the board, both wonderful contributors. Then Vasily Buju, our great friend, has joined the board and has been providing excellent advice to the board. So the board has changed. It continues to change. A couple of us have been there for a very long time, and I hope that some of that time goes to providing continuity, institutional memory, and the experience that it takes to go into actually a job as a planning board. But in fact, we have had quite a few new members come and go over the past.
Mr. Sibyl.
Can you hear me? I don't think it's a bad thing to have, long-term board members. I do think cycling through, I add in fresh faces that speak to the other parts of the town. Because some of the members that have been on board don't speak to. I have, I have 3 kids that are free, very years on, so I have the benefit of hearing you from different dynamics of groups, and I think that having you also on what the town is asking for is helpful. But I don't necessarily think these guys will remember. I do think it's also just often to add and cycle through and get fresh ideas and keep people on board.
Mr. Jackson.
Well, I agree basically with that. Certainly there is a plus to having long-term members on board to serve as anchors and, like Martha said, to create that continuity and the background information that's required from time to time. However, there's nothing wrong with a fresh voice either, because there needs to be differences of opinion expressed from time to time. And I hope that's what I'll be able to do from time to time. Thanks.
Mr. Hall.
Thank you. I agree with everything everyone just said. There is fresh blood in Bangor. You only three certain things in life, we all know this. It's death, taxes, we think, and of course change. And planning board has changed. But there, as Ms. Morrison has stated, there's great benefit in having some people on the board that have been there a while and know the nuances of A&R approvals, of soil issues within the town. So it took me, I think, 4 years of being on the board just to feel comfortable enough to speak intelligently to an advocate for a permit. So, yes, change is good, but I think at this moment in time, the reason I'm running is to continue the work that we've done, that we've done with visiting members.
Mr. Scipio, from the surveys conducted, what are the 3 top priorities the town wants?
Which surveys? There were a few.
I'm not sure.
Okay, great. Is this on?
Yeah.
Think not.
It is not.
Push.
Can you hear me?
There you go.
We're gonna lead towards say the master plan survey. Let's go with that. Yeah. Restaurants was probably the number one thing that we saw. Preserving green spaces and reason for people to do family-oriented things and some type of housing adjustments, whether that be for our seniors who need to downsize or out of space go, or it be for other things that want to come here and live here and experience what it is to be here.
Mr. Jackson?
Would you repeat that question?
Oh, sure. It's just how we would like you to repeat this question. From the surveys conducted, what are the 3 top priorities the town wants?
Well, almost everybody you talk to said they want a restaurant in town, so we are moving in that direction. There needs to be more space for senior living, and I'm in favor of the 40B project that's being built at Emerson Field. That'll help that, and it will produce better human traffic downtown, and we are all excited about doing that. We need to continue to work on, try to do something with development on Route 1. We tend to have to do some development, worthwhile development, and worthwhile development in the shopping center. We're trying to make some progress there, but it's very slow, and that's where we're going to be headed, I'm sure.
Mr. Hall?
If I remember correctly, the top 3 were economic development, second one was preservation of town character, and the third one, I think you got me on that. I can't honestly remember what the third one was. So that's what I remember from the town plan last time I read it.
Ms. Morrison?
Okay, can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, great. Okay, I understand that economic development, housing, and the environment are 3 major concerns that have been cited for many years. And I'm happy to say that over the years, particularly recently, we have gone to great lengths to try and to develop some of these things. In the area of environment, we recently had to reduce some of our stormwater bylaw to be in compliance with the federal EPA MS4 permit. We have accomplished that. We had to redo our floodplain bylaw, which we did with the technical assistance grant, so we're good in that direction. We have expanded restaurants, retail, multifamily housing to all the business districts in town. It used to be confined just to the business village. And in the area of housing, we have our MBTA district, we have the ADU bylaw that just went through, and within our own bylaws, we extended and expanded the ability for people to do multifamily housing, not just one unit, but multiple units on lots that can accommodate them. So we have been really pushing in the area of zoning to make it possible for these housing developments to take place.
Thank you. Next question goes to Mr. Jackson first. What are some of the challenges you see for the planning board in the coming 1 to 2 years?
Well, as Martha mentioned, they're working hard, they have been working hard to upgrade bylaws, to change and make it available for development to take place, so that there will be places for people to live in the sand town. I really am hard pressed to name any other serious challenge at this point in time. I will address one of them in my closing statements, but that's all I will say at the moment.
Mr. Hall.
I think probably the most pressing issue is finding ways to advance economic development within a community that is almost entirely built out. But most of you know that the soils in town most of the soils in town are substandard or what we call red soils that do not fertilate, which is why we don't have restaurants for the most part. And restaurants use a lot of water, and dealing with the wastewater is something that our soils do not readily handle. So finding ways to advance economic development while preserving character of the town, I think is the highest challenge for the planning board.
Ms. Morrison.
I can tell you right off that the first challenge that we have to face this very next year is a series of mandates from the Department of Energy Resources of the Commonwealth. The Clean Energy Act now requires that every community develop a whole set of clean energy bylaws and processes. Fortunately, we've already checked out our solar and wind bylaw. They are fine. We don't have to do anything with them, but we do have to come up with a battery energy storage system bylaw, and we have to develop a comprehensive permit procedure that clean energy developers can employ if they want to come to Topsfield. This is highly technical. We've already started. This is will be quite a challenge for us. The other challenge is going to be how to encourage infill development, how to encourage the use of lots that are underutilized. And again, this is something that we can work on in coordination with the ECDC, with the Select Board, and others involved in the storm process.
Thank you. Ms. DeCipio.
We'll repeat any of the other things. Explain that very well. I'm just going to say that I think the challenge for the land board is matching what the town was asking for to say here, either a housing or services or enjoyment, and matching that with the bylaws and the zoning and claiming for it. It is a challenge to give people what they want in a full way.
We are going to go to closing statements, and we're going to start with Mr. Jackson.
I came into the planning board with a thought that I want to try to pursue and try to fix. The select board and the planning board are two of the very important boards that are involved in running this town. And I have a problem with the fact that they don't communicate.
Oh.
Very rarely is there communication going on between members of the planning board and members of the board of select. And I'd like to fix that. I'd like to try to bring these two groups together to discuss their differences, of opinion, so that we can move forward with a common front. And we don't have that going on today, in my opinion, and I'd like to fix it. Thank you.
Mr. Hall.
I'm having such a good time, I don't want this to close. Topsfield is going to be my lifelong home. Cody and I moved here because of the character of the town, with the promise that the town brings to enjoying life in the community. I love the fact that we are a town of about 6,500. This is large enough to be not noticed if you'd like, and it's small enough that looking out, I know about a third of this audience by name. I like that. I like going to the stores downtown, talking with grocers by game. I would like to make sure about grocers. Convenience store. I would like this town to continue to prosper, and that does require growth, but that requires growth in maintaining character discount.
Alice Norris.
Well, closing statement so soon? I mean, my goodness, in only 1 minute? How much can I do in 1 minute? Don't start finding me down here. Okay, the planning board is really hard work. Okay, it really is. But we need to be familiar with state and local laws, rules, and regulations so that we apply them fairly and equitably and intelligibly to all the various applications that come before us. And there are a lot, and all of them are very different. And as Dean said, it takes a lot of time, to get to speed for all of this stuff. Now, as the state rules evolve, we have to keep track of all of that, and we have to evolve with them. And we need to be able to figure out how to apply these state mandates to Topsfield in an effective and intelligent way so that the community benefits. We always need to listen to our citizens, and we do. We always have informational sessions where we go through a great deal to try and solicit input from all of our residents, because they are the ones who were affected by the changes that happen. So I'm committed to meeting these challenges as they go forward, and I want to preserve the best of Topsfield and make it a better town, to make it even better than it is already. I ask you to return me to the planning board so that I can continue to contribute to the future of the town that I have loved since 1984. So thank you.
Mississippi. I'm a fast learner. I've been on learning all of the stuff at Oregoners. She's a wealth of knowledge and a joy to be in learning those laws and from. I've been on zoning and I'm on development committee and we're in all of this. I think it's very important that we listen to Liz here and provide what they're asking for within reason to solve growth. Don't want to see any collective government, private, or anything like that. Going to see Topsfield stay a safe community but still feed the need of people. There are a lot of people that I talk to that leave this town because they don't have services, they don't have restaurants, they do report because it's blocking and there's blight. I would like to see some of how they come to Topsfield so that all of our residents feel that they can live here and still live back. I've been here 20 years. I finish here at least 20 more. At least I'm not committed to die here. I've been It's too far away from me.
Thanks to candidates for participating this evening and our audience again for attending. We recognize that our time is short. We encourage voters for follow-up questions to contact the candidates directly. And we hope this video will be rebroadcast on Topsfield's cable channel. And if you want to learn more about our local league, please reach out to us on this site. Again, we encourage you to vote on Thursday, May 7th, at 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. at St. Rose Church Hall, and attend town meeting Tuesday, May 5th, 7 p.m. at St. Thomas School Auditorium. Thank you and good night.